There we go.
Hello and welcome to another episode of One Fall WrestleCast Live. Tom and I are here with you right before Christmas Mania. We got plenty of great things to talk about. Ric Flair, are you paying his bar tab? Danhausen's in a contract year. The internet believes that Julia is being misused. A lot of folks think that the Death Riders versus Hangman Adam Page is the storyline of the year. Andrade, John Cena, and a bunch of other things. Can't wait to talk to you. Catch you on the other side.
Welcome to the One Fall WrestleCast.
You know what I always notice every
What's up, dude?
time? You know what I always notice every time we go through the little intro there is that our beards have gotten so much better over the years that we are like peak beard bros right now. Before we were like little baby beard bros. Now we're like peak.
So yesterday I went to the barbershop, and it's the first time I've been to my barber since the beginning of November. He took some time off. He took his family down to Mexico for Thanksgiving, and then it just hasn't really worked out, right? And been doing a lot of self-care. I went to one of the local chop shops, one of those big brand boxes like at the mall or whatever, and got the sides of my head shaved, whatever. And so it's the first time he's seen me in a couple of months. And I walked in, bro, is that a handlebar? I said, yeah, man, you like it? He's like, I love it. Can't wait to work on it. And then we got it looking
It looks good.
real nice. Gave me a couple of tricks to get my swoopage right. So we're still working through that a little bit. And yeah. So the hair is here. The hand is staying. And you have to excuse my dog shin. It is Christmas break, and my family is upstairs just swallowing all the bandwidth. So that is to be expected, I guess, at this point in time. So
I guess it's you're still on the Comcast, right? You guys haven't. FiOS is not an option. God, fucking Comcast is the worst.
No.
Yeah, Comcast is like,
And
I keep saying to my parents, like, when they can cancel Comcast, like, can I be there when you cancel it? Because it will make me so happy to tell Comcast, yeah, get the fuck away. Send me the box to send you your shit so that we don't have to deal with your shit service anymore. Because FiOS is the way. I've happily been on FiOS since it was introduced in my neighborhood, and I will never go back. Comcast calls me sometimes, and I laugh at them. I'm like, "Ha, no!" and I hang up. It's great. Yeah, it's a lovely holiday. It's a holiday episode. We're holiday theming it here. Got a holiday brew. And we got some holiday things. Not really, actually, holiday things to talk about. We got wrestling things to talk about.
No, not really. Not really.
The
I mean, we do. We are going to start off with the holiday.
Oh yes.
What's that?
I said, oh yes, we are starting off with holiday. Holiday, Mr. Flair.
I'm gonna crash the fuck out. Yeah. So Ric Flair has a 4.8 out of 5 stars overall rating on Cameo, except for this one negative review that's 1 star. And it says, and it's from November 26, 2025, so roughly 30 days ago. And it says, yo, I paid $600 for Rick to sit in a restaurant, blasted out of his mind, and say my dad's name wrong. I paid for him to say Merry Christmas to my father, Buff. He called him Barf and just read the instructions word for word, and I'm super disappointed. I spent money on this. I would have got someone who actually puts the effort in for $600 to a regular person, puts the effort in for $600 to a regular person. That's a lot of money. I'm not going to give a Christmas video to my father with his hero calling him Barf.
Barf. So, I mean, it's hilarious, and I feel like if this is true, like that's really fucked up, right? If it's true, and like Rick should make that right, if that's the case. But also, Ric Flair is still like a drunk old man at like 78 years old. At this point, if you're gonna and you should know that before throwing $600 at a drunk old man who is 78 years old, like you should Google it. Hey, what's Ric Flair up to these days? And you will find out that he is up to being drunk off his ass in a bar in Charlotte, North Carolina, and pissing his pants generally weekly in those bars and being escorted out gingerly by the staff because he's spent more money on spilt liquor than we've ever made in our entire lives. And he's making sure that with inflation, he keeps up with that. So that's what he's working on currently. And I mean, so I feel bad because clearly, yes, this man spent $600. Ric Flair was his father's hero, purchased a cameo from Mr. Richard Fliehr. And Rick went, oh shit, I forgot. Did it hammered at a bar, which is par for the course for Ric Flair. Called his dad Buff. First of all, if your dad's name is Buff, that's fucking cool. But second of all, I'm sorry that Rick called him Barf, but that's also hilarious. Look, if I did that to my dad, if my dad's name is not Buff, by the way, but if Ric Flair called my dad Barf, I would absolutely show my father and be like, Dad, you want to see the funniest shit you've ever seen in your entire life? And then I would show him Ric Flair calling him Barf. And my dad would proceed to laugh his ass off. And then he would scold me if I paid $600 for Ric Flair to talk into his cell phone. But hey, I mean, at least the guy picked up Rick's bar tab for that night.
Yeah. You know, I mean, I have a completely different imagination about how this went down. You know, on November, you know, leading into Thanksgiving, you know, Rick's just sitting there, probably just got done, you know, ditching a Comic-Con early, you know, as he tends to do, which has been recently highlighted on the Joe Rogan show. One of the guys on there, I can't remember his name for the life of me. Big Ric Flair guy, loves Ric Flair. And I guess Rick was in town. He was in Austin, you know, doing a Comic-Con. And, it was fucking Tony Hinchcliff.
Tony. Yeah, him. Kill Tony.
And he goes, so he texts Rick. He's like, hey, I heard you're in town. Rick's like, woo, yeah, I'm in town. Love to hang out. He's like, I'm done at this Comic-Con at 5:30. Why don't you show me the town? And then Tony's like, all right, cool, man. He's like, I'll meet you at the convention center, you know, whatever. He said, no, it couldn't have been 20 minutes later. He said, hey, I'm done at this Comic-Con at 1:30. Meet me down here. And then they went and proceeded to just get hammered, shit-faced drunk for the next 8 hours until Rick slowly faded off and, you know, went and put himself to sleep. But I have a different imagination of how this happened. Rick was blowing off a Comic-Con, sitting around at a bar, you know, getting drunk, doing Rick things. And he gets the alert on Cameo, and he's like, "Oh, woo, need to pay this bar tab." He's like, "Oh, I can handle this right now. This is easy. Six hundo. I got this." Hits record. He's like, "Hey, what's up, Barf? It's woo, Ric Flair. Yeah, man, just trying to pay this bar. Merry Christmas, Barf. Barf. Like the movie, right? Half man, half dog. I'm my own best friend. Merry Christmas. Woo. Click. Done. Hey,
take another.
Can we get another round for the ladies in the house?
Yeah, that's exactly.
That's how I see that going down. You didn't like it. That's how I saw that going down. But I mean, it is disappointing, and while it is also, like you said, it's hilarious. It's extremely sad too that like this is where we're at with Ric Flair. When all of that shit happened with the stewardess finally coming out from the plane ride from hell with the helicopter whirlybird thing, and him getting run through the pain on that, and then just continual negative PR that Rick continues to be a part of, whether it be AEW appearances or just some of the dumb shit that he says on Twitter, or just the videos of him pissing himself in local pizza shops, drinking beer with 30-year-old women that are clearly just there to get a little bit of his money and hang out with him. It's fucking sad is what it is.
Yeah.
And it continues to tarnish the legacy of a man that a lot of us in the pro wrestling fandom, have looked up to and adored for many, 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 many years. And at this point, man, I don't know how many more Ric Flair stories we're going to be able to tell on this show. Just because it's becoming wash, rinse, repeat, man. And it's to the point where I don't even want to fucking talk about Ric Flair anymore, just simply because I don't want to tarnish the man's legacy any more than he's doing for himself.
I hear you on that, but at the same point in time, it's like this was always where this guy was going to end up, right? Like,
no, 100%.
You hear the stories about Ric Flair growing up, like, oh, the jet riding, wheeling, dealing, and it's like everybody that not even Rick himself, everybody that you ask about Rick personally is like, what is Rick really like? Is that really what he's like? And everybody will tell you the same thing. That's exactly what he's like. He lives the life that he portrays on screen. He lives that life. The man is
the gimmick.
He is 78 years old, still living the gimmick. He is Ric Flair. He's not Richard Fleer anymore. He doesn't know who that guy is.
He says it in that Ric Flair documentary. That's the very first question they ask him. That's how it opens. Who is Richard Fleer and who is Ric Flair? And he even says Richard Fleer is dead.
He doesn't know who that guy is. And it's sad, yes, I guess, if from a certain perspective, but from another perspective, it's like the man had one of the most illustrious careers in pro wrestling ever. To this, like, it's hard to say. I don't know that anybody's had as long of a tenure as Ric Flair. I mean, other than like Vince McMahon, who wasn't a wrestler, but in in-ring career, nobody's had a longer career than Ric Flair. This was a weird like thing to like look back on, because if you look back, and I know we like our birthdays are too close, but like so we're clearly like very like it's the same. Like Hulk Hogan and Ric Flair were the champions when we were born. But if you look back at like the entirety of like, okay, anybody born from like 1981, around like 83, 84, up through like the early 90s, generally almost everybody. Who was the champion when you were born? I can tell you who the champion was when we were born. It was Hulk Hogan and Ric Flair. Hulk Hogan was the WWF champion. Ric Flair was the NWA champion. Now, here's another thing. My girlfriend, Ashley, right? She's here. You hear her voice sometimes. Ashley is 4.5 years younger than me, but she is 5 years behind us in school. Guess who was the champions when Ashley was born? Just guess. Hulk Hogan and Ric Flair. Yeah, Hulk Hogan and Ric Flair. So it's one of those things where it's like you talk about guys who have illustrious careers, and it's like those guys were like Hulk Hogan was in his 30s. Rick was almost in his 40s at that point. And he had then had more title runs. Ric Flair was a WWF champion when we were like 7. Like him and Macho Man had that feud in like
6,
92, 6, 7, yeah. Like so, it's the man has a legacy that is untouchable, but at the same time, it was like this is always where we were going to end up. The man was self-destructive the entire time. The fact that he didn't die at that point, and now he's 78 years old and still out there being Ric Flair. He almost died several times, almost in a plane crash. But I mean, yes, you're right. Does he tarnish his legacy? I suppose, but he still exists, and not to harp on anything, politically. But the Epstein files came out. Guess who there weren't any pictures of on the Epstein Island?
Ric Flair?
Ric Flair. Yeah, Rick was not on the island. So, Ric Flair not accused of being on the Epstein Island. And at this point, I feel like that's really the only thing that untarnishes your legacy. It's like, well, maybe I slept with thousands and thousands of women in their 40s, but wasn't on the Epstein Island. At that point, where's the bar? We've lowered the bar. Rick is still fine. But yes, don't call people who pay $600 for cameos barf. I hope Ric Flair makes this right, and I hope that it goes okay. But also, kind of a hilarious story. I don't know. I would like to hang out with Ric Flair, but I also wouldn't give Ric Flair money to the tune of $600 to say something into his phone, because that sounds like a poor investment.
Yeah,
Point,
I agree.
Right?
I agree. So hopefully Rick makes this right, and Biff can get his Christmas present from his hero. See what I did there?
Couple days still to fix it. I would love to talk about this like a week or two from now.
We're going on a month now. I would like to know if Rick has made this right, but will probably be one of those things we'll never know.
Anyway, what's next?
Huh?
Uh-oh.
Are you very nice, very evil?
Very nice, very evil.
So word on the street is Danhausen's contract is up beginning of 26.
I wonder how long the jar of teeth are signed.
I heard they signed a lifetime guaranteed contract.
Because it's not illegal to pour somebody else's teeth into your mouth. Okay, so joking aside, I fucking love Danhausen as like a wrestler, as a character, the whole thing. Like, I realize that's bullshit for coming from me, but like also you gotta fucking love a guy that commits as hard as he does. I was so excited when he signed for AEW. It was so excited because like, oh my god, Danhausen is gonna be on TV regularly, and then he fucking wasn't. And it was like, are we serious? Like, you have this guy that is tailor-made for your weird show. Because let's face it, particularly at the time when Danhausen was signed, that show was fucking weird. And Danhausen was a perfect, like, fit for that goofy-ass shit that was... And his segments, at least, would have been entertaining. But instead, they stuck him with Orange Cassidy for a little bit, and then he got hurt, like, because somebody did something stupid, and which is par for the course, right? Then he was out, and then Brawl Out happened, and Danhausen, CM Punk's friend. I don't know if any of this is true, but like apparently Danhausen was upset about how all that went down with CM Punk and all that other stuff, and Tony basically just blacklisted him, but held him on contract and also held him for all of the hurt time that he had and just didn't book him, which is something that Tony and lots of other AEW wrestlers criticized Vince McMahon for. That doesn't seem to be a thing that happens in current day WWE. They seem to very much enforce the non-compete clause, however, which we'll talk about later. However, it certainly seems as though as soon as somebody is very ready to be fired, they get fired. And, that sort of ends in short order. And then, they just sit through whatever the non-compete clause is, usually a couple months, and, they're back out there. So current day WWE doesn't seem to have a problem letting talent go that doesn't want to be around because people want to be there. However, current AEW does seem to be petty as far as people who are under contract but are not being booked. Danhausen not.
So do we think that this is Tony Khan being petty, or do you think this is just simply mismanagement? Like, he doesn't. It doesn't seem like he wants to be responsible for releasing anybody or having to make sure that anybody's, following a non-compete clause or anything like that. It to me, from the outside looking in, because we did get some releases this year. We got Penta and Ray Fenix both got released, which we never thought we would see, would be those guys getting their releases, especially Ray Fenix.
So with Penta's contract expired and he just simply did not re-sign.
Okay, that's right. That's right.
That's how that went with Penta. With Ray Fenix, his contract expired at the same time. However, time was added due to his injury. He did have to sit out some of that time. However, the internet heat, because Ray Fenix is a bigger deal than Danhausen. Let's call a spade a spade. Ray Fenix is a bigger deal than Danhausen is. And and Ray Fenix did have to sit out a big portion of that. However, there was heat generated from that because we knew it was happening, right? The internet figured it out. The dirt sheets figured it out, or somebody told the dirt sheets very directly, hey, this is exactly what's going on with this Ray Fenix situation in AEW. And they printed it, and Tony went, shit, this is bad press for me. All right, Ray, get the fuck out of here. And he immediately showed back up. He immediately showed up in AEW or in WWE with his brother, and has basically been there ever since. We can criticize whether or not Ray Fenix's booking has been any good. Penta's booking, I think, has been great. Unfortunately, he got hurt. But I think Penta's run has been good up until the point where he got injured. We'll see what happens after that. Injuries happen. It sucks. But I think Penta's been doing a great job, and I think that his WWE booking has been stellar, particularly all year. Really had probably the best entrance. He showed up. Was it the first Netflix, or was a couple, maybe 2 or 3 in? The first couple of Raws on Netflix, Penta showed up, and it was great. Unfortunately, he got hurt going after the Intercontinental title. I think feuding with Dirty Dom, but once he gets back, I assume, I can't imagine his booking won't be just as strong as it was prior to that. WWE Universe seems to love him. He sells a lot of merch. That's been great. But yeah, the Ray Fenix thing is another thing on the AEW side. But back to Danhausen. It seems like Danhausen's just small enough to sort of have flown under the radar enough to not generate enough heat from the dirt sheets, which is really where Tony Khan, butters his bread. And it's just like, oh, well, they're just going to let it expire because they've added on time from when his leg was broken and, whatever other injuries he had, because the other injury was, I think, like a shoulder or an arm injury or something. And it wasn't his fault. Like it was somebody else fell on him or did something wrong and just fucked him up. And it was like, what the hell, man? So he sort of suffers from not to bring up like a Ridge Holland, but something like that. It's a very clearly the fault lied within the other performer, and that's what happened. And then Danhausen was punished for an additional 6 months plus because we've not seen Danhausen on TV, and I mean, I think he was on there once in Ring of Honor, but like in the last 2 years, it's been a long.
I mean, it's definitely been at least a year since he's been on TV.
Yeah, it's been a long time. Like he's had like at least a year of non.
I mean, and he did an interview with CVV earlier this year, and it's just like I don't know, man. They're just not using me. Like I don't know what else to tell you. Like I'm not hurt. I'm, I was, but I'm not now. And I'd like to get some creative direction, but the phone's just not ringing. And I mean that's what leads me to believe that this is just continued mismanagement by Tony Khan and AEW. If it's not the now and the current, and Tony's okay to just throw money at these things, so that he doesn't have to deal with them. Tony wants to be everybody's best friend all the time. I really get that vibe. He's never got a bad thing to say about anybody, but then in turn will turn around and just simply not use them, or simply change the subject when asked about them, or simply just ignore and move on. It's as somebody that manages people in my real life. These are just like textbook non-confrontational things that somebody in upper management cannot have. The traits that somebody in upper management cannot have, and he continues to just, hey, have you seen Rampage? How about Rampage? You seen Rampage this week? Rampage, greatest show on television. Anybody ever seen Rampage? Oh, let me tell you about Rampage. It's always something. If somebody were to zero in on Tony Khan and ask him about the Rey Fenix situation, he would say, "Oh my God, Collision this past week did fucking a million views. Did you see that shit?"
Yeah, that's exactly what he'd say. And it's not just Danhausen either. It's like, where's Britt Baker been? Like, I know she was hurt. I know there was like a weird, like something adjacent to a stroke incident. But like, where's Britt Baker? There's all of this like weird silence also, right? Because like, nobody wants their paycheck to stop. So there's clearly a clause in there, and somebody violated it, and somebody's paycheck stopped showing up, and they lost in court because they said something. So clearly there's paychecks showing up for people that they don't want to stop showing up. But also, like, there's this just complete disregard for talent as well. You know what I mean? So I'd love to hear more about it. I don't think we're going to hear about it from Danhausen. By all accounts, the guy seems to be the most professional guy, the hardest working, and anybody that's met him, he's an easy guy to meet too at Comic-Cons or whatever else. Everybody's like, Danhausen is fucking awesome. He stays in character. He's always in character.
Huh?
He's always working. What? Yes? Oh. Put the teeth in their mouth. It's not illegal to put somebody else's teeth in their mouth. Like, fucking, the guy is great. I mean, I don't know that it fits anywhere. I'd love to see him in NXT just because I'm a fan. I would tune in for that, but at the same time,
yeah. But I mean, hear me out on this. Hear me out on this. Okay, R-Truth has said that, hey man, this is probably going to be my last deal. Like it's time. Okay, you just slide Danhausen into those R-Truth segments, and keep on keeping on.
Yeah, he barely has to wrestle, truthfully. And honest to God, the man can wrestle. Like, let's be fair. Because R-Truth can wrestle too. R-Truth is also 55 years old. But like the man can wrestle. So it's not even like a thing where he can't go out there and take some bumps, especially with a cape and with a jar of teeth and do a thing. Does he fit in current day WWE on the main roster? It's a little non-weird. But then again, the Wyatt Six are out there, and they were finally just back out there this week, although we'd not seen them since like Halloween. Although they're the fucking tag team champions. But they were just out last Friday defending it. They were part of the main event. Main event on SmackDown this week, by the way, out of this world crazy. But like, I mean, I think it ended in like a disqualification or something. It was like a no contest. So, it didn't go anywhere. But at the same time, it's just like there's room for characters like this now in WWE. Maybe not constantly, and maybe not in big storylines, but it's things we could see, in a SmackDown, randomly, in a backstage segment on Raw, and in NXT, especially in NXT. And somebody like Danhausen would be cool there. I would love to see Danhausen get a shot on television because I feel like he's developed his character so much that like you could put him on and just give everybody maybe a good, give him a good month or so of like, just like, hey, this is how the Danhausen character works on NXT, right? Give him, 30 seconds here, a minute there, and for a month, and then, have him show up on SmackDown and stuff just to cause mischief. He's just this weird little mischief man. Especially because they've got Joe Hendry floating around, who is also a weird little mischief man. And they're doing a really good job with that. So it's like 3 years later, but it's like, I almost feel like it's like, okay, well now the time is right to get some good stuff from Danhausen in WWE and in NXT or whatever. And I would hope to see that because I would be excited to see that. So hopefully things are looking up for Danhausen. Hopefully cool things are about to happen. They're also probably about to bring up a bunch of dudes. Javon Evans, Obafemi. They're about to kind of, I don't want to say gut, like that's not fair to the NXT talent. They're about to like kind of remove all the top talent from NXT and place them in on the main roster. And I would kind of hope that.
Well, I mean, Trick Williams got called up, didn't he?
Trick is up. Javon Evans has been on the main roster. Like we've seen his face once a week somewhere. Yes, sir. Kind of like, I'm bouncy, kind of like once a week, basically for the last month.
Well, that's kind of how Ricochet and Aleister Black came up too. Just like random one-offs that just kept on keeping on. The next thing you know, they're just on the main roster.
Yeah, and I mean, shit, they put Obafemi in the ring and let him dominate Cody Rhodes for 5 or 6 minutes before they had Drew come out there a little prematurely and get that done. So I don't know, man. I think that a lot of things are about to be happening. I think there's a lot of changing of the guard about to happen, and I do think that there's going to be some room made. There was also something that came out that WWE is not particularly hiring right now because they've got a lot of talent in the wings. They've got a lot of talent ready to go, so they're not like looking for new at the moment, but for the right spot, the right person with a like minimal. And I do feel like Danhausen might be that kind of guy, especially the kind of guy to sort of let R-Truth retire, right? The man is going to be 56 years old here coming up here pretty soon. And, there's a lot of other guys who need to take a couple steps back. The Miz comes to mind. Not that I don't love The Miz, but I mean, also The Miz is, approaching 50 at this point. Unless you're going to put him on commentary and fire Joe Tess or something like that, which doesn't seem to be the way he's about to go. You know what I mean? It seems like The Miz is going to host stuff, but like as The Miz of WWE kind of thing, like he did with American Gladiator, which was disappointing from a Gladiator standpoint, but not from like The Miz standpoint. So I don't know. It seems like the page is about to turn. And that's kind of why I think our main event is what it is. But the page is about to turn, so there's a lot of interesting things that could and hopefully should happen coming up pretty soon. Because if they don't happen this coming year, it's going to be forced to happen very, very soon.
Yeah. I mean, and then we're going to have to continue to endure things like. Bleacher Report announcing that their number one storyline for 2025 is Adam Hangman Page versus the Death Riders.
I mean, so when I read that article too, just to point out, like my first thought is like, was that your favorite thing that happened because it finally killed this Death Riders bullshit? Because that shit was abysmal. Like 2024 for AEW was probably the worst year AEW ever had. And I'm just saying that like as a guy that watches AEW and like wants to like it. But 2024 for AEW was unbelievably dog shit garbage. Every show, it was like 2019 WWE is what it reminded me of. Like I would be watching and I would be like, "Oh my fucking god, are we serious? We're doing this again? But this person's not beating Jon Moxley." There was a point in time where I'm like, "Okay, thank God they're gonna put this on Samoa Joe." Oh god, they didn't. They didn't put it on Samoa Joe. Which, by the way, they've remedied that because apparently Adam Page couldn't hold it, and now Samoa Joe is the reigning defending, and Samoa Joe has been fucking incredible in his second reign. By the way. But like, are we serious? Like, it must have been like a Stockholm syndrome kind of thing, right? For that, like, it had to have been like, good God, they have to get this off of him, right? We have to like glaze this company, but also Mox can't continue to be the champion this way. This is fucking bullshit. This is terrible. This is terrible television, and the ratings showed that, right? Like, it was like, oh, Dynamite went from like 1 million people a week to like 500, like 200,000 people a week, and like nobody fucking watched that shit. And they're like, well, people watched it on replay, and it's like, oh, okay, great. Like they put it on in the background while they were working because it was wrestling, or it was like the next in queue on HBO, and I paid $10 for this, so fucking maybe I should click it. And it was like. It was a very like it was a somber year because nothing happened, nothing interesting. Everybody who they had built up and had made important for the first 5 years of AEW what happened to Private Party? Who killed Private Party and where is Private Party buried right now? By the way, it's probably next to Britt Baker, so let's find them. But like. The Hardys were gone. Fucking Jericho just sort of faded into nothingness at the end of 2024. Big Bill, where's Big Bill? Have we seen Big Bill? What's he up to?
Are you talking about 25 or are you talking about 24?
24.
Okay.
Like 24, like Big Bill, but like in 25, Big Bill sort of just like faded into like non-existence. The Young Bucks, who used to be like the biggest deal ever. Oh my God, the Young Bucks. Did you see the Young Bucks match? Oh my God, the Young Bucks are going to spend 8 matches in 8 weeks fucking wrestling other people. They wrestled like 4 times in the last year. Kenny Omega is hurt. We're never going to see him again. Like, AEW changed not for the better last year, and it was dog shit. For like 95% of it. They had their 24 was WWE's 2019. It was hey, Baron Corbin and Lacey Evans are going to have a segment that goes nowhere, but that's half the show. It was that. And everything that happened in 24 in AEW was mostly nonsense. Everybody was either hurt. Most people were hurt. Let's be fair to that. And it became a joke. And they've regained some momentum this year, thankfully for them. But really only because WWE just sort of took a year off to like just roll in money with John Cena. And it was like kind of a like, oh, well, we're not really going to progress like new guy storylines that like wrestling fans are excited about, at least in WWE. And so AEW sort of picked up on that and was like, okay, well, let's get Adam Page to beat Jon Moxley. Let's get, some shit going on. But still, they've defaulted back to like the standard bearers of like, shit, we got to put this back on Samoa Joe, who is like 47 years old at this point. And I am a big Samoa Joe fan. But like, if you're like, Joe, help, fuck, what are we doing? Right?
I agree.
Like holy shit. Like you're the young up and coming company, and you took it off of your like OG guy who was like, I'm gonna be the first AEW champion, and then he wasn't, by the way. He was like the fourth, something like that.
Fourth.
Like, and you took it off of him because he was like, guys, I gotta go home and I gotta like teach my class and like be with my kid. I'll be back though, promise. Give me a month. Swerve, same thing. Like, Swerve's back now, which is great. Love Swerve, but like, where the fuck's Swerve been? Like, what are we doing in AEW? Because it's like this whole disjointed mess is like, okay, we're back into a stride now, which is cool because like Joe is great and Joe is a stalwart, and like you can do shit with Joe. And it's like, well, now Swerve and Paige are back for now, and we can do some good stuff with them. And it's like, well, why don't you just pick one of those guys to do some good stuff? And it's like John Moxley's the only guy that's around, and like everything he does turns to dog shit. And yeah, it's an upsetting sort of like turn of events, because even if you think about it hard, like there's really only been a few guys who have been up there, and that whole Bryan Danielson thing to like force that off of Swerve really stings even more now, because like where the fuck he's helped nobody. They signed him, they forced the title onto him, ripped it off of Swerve, who earned the shit, and where's he? Like, I'm sure he's in the back somewhere, like on the phone, like, but there needs to be a direction, because like right now it's just like, okay, we've got Samoa Joe and we've got John Moxley, who are both guys who are in their 40s. We're like, these are the guys who we could put the belt on to carry the company. And prior to that, it was like, well, Chris Jericho was in that, and he's is he 60 yet?
No.
Okay. Well, like a 58-year-old Chris Jericho was like the other guy. And it's like, what the fuck are we doing? Like, what exactly is the goal here? What is the end game? What is the end goal here? Because you're not developing talent. All of your young guys have like petered off into nothingness, or are fucking so hurt that they may never recover. Is Nick Wayne dead? Nick Wayne might be dead.
Might be.
Anyway. So it's and you lost your Lucha Bros, you lost your young bucks are not so young anymore. They're just bucks, and they don't really want to play anymore. Kenny Omega probably gonna die soon. I don't know. What in the fuck? Like you forced Cody out.
You fired Punk.
You fired Punk. I mean, you fired half of AEW or WWE's top talent at the moment. What are you doing? What are you doing? Like, what's happening? You can't use Danhausen, who was the most electric internet guy in 2022 or whatever. Like the guy who lit the internet on fire.
Huh?
What?
What?
Bags of money and jars of teeth. Like, you sold no fucking merch with Danhausen. You sold like bullshit Danhausen. Like, are you here to?
I mean, fuck. Even we sold a Derrickhausen t-shirt.
It's almost like we're coming back to this, like what CM Punk said is like, oh, are you here to make money, or are you here to play with wrestling figures? And like, that's what it is. And it's like, I don't hate what's happening in AEW, which is hard, which is why it's hard to be so gripey about it now. I don't hate what's happening in AEW because I love Samoa Joe and I think he's killing it right now. I'm glad Swerve is there. I think Swerve's killing it right now. I'm glad Hangman's around. I think Hangman's doing better. Hangman's last run was better than his first run by a mile. But like, where does this shit go? Who do you have in the wings? Like, you're just back to the same old. It's like, okay, you've got Hangman who can hang on to it for like a little bit, and it's like, okay, he's great on the chase, right? You got a guy that's great on the chase. You got Samoa Joe who is there to be like, all right, he's your stalwart. If I need to call an audible, it's like just fucking put it on Joe and we'll do that. WWE did that too with NXT. They fucking did that too. Joe is a guy who you can be like, Joe, help. And he'll be like, I got you. Give me 2 months. And like, it's great. You got Moxley, who is like, they leave it on him too long, but like, I guess he can carry it. I have a weird love-hate relationship with that. But you know, there's that. But it's like, other than those guys, like Kenny Omega's on his way out. Absolutely. Like whether it's health or he's tired or he's hurt or whatever, Kenny Omega's on his way out. The Young Bucks are not the draw they thought they were 5 years ago, let alone 10 years ago, and that's fizzling out too. Jericho's done, clearly. I mean, we're already talking about Jericho coming back to WWE for a retirement run. Who's left? Who's next?
Yeah.
You got Swerve? I mean, Swerve's great. I love Swerve. Can he carry the company all by himself with no competitors?
I don't see why not.
I mean, let him try. I don't care. Bobby Lashley's there. Fucking Shelton Benjamin's there. I mean, those guys are almost 50, but like, fuck it. Like, they look 38. Like, let them do it. I don't know, man. It's like it's a weird spot where it's like they've not developed any talent. The talent that they've developed, like the Mariah Mays and the, you know, I mean, Tony Storm's still doing good stuff, but at the same time, like, that's almost run its course at this point, and like it almost needs a gimmick change because it's been 3 years at this point. You got Mercedes Moné, who I guess is getting all the accolades, but like, where is she? Like, I guess you put it on her, you put the women's division on her shoulders, but like they've done no real work to like build up the women's division other than her and Tony. You know, they put a lot of time into Mariah May, and she's gone. Saraya's gone. Serena Deeb's too old now. Thunder Rosa's done. She's too old. Like, who do you have? What are you gonna do? I mean,
you chased Camille away.
Yeah, you chased Camille away. You chased fucking oh god, I can see your face. I am the storm.
Jade Cargill.
Jade Cargill. You chased Jade. Jade's gone. What? I mean, you got Statlander still, I guess, but I mean, she's sort of almost, you know, not, I would say run her course. That's not fair, but like, you know, everybody's not what they thought they would be. I mean, even everybody's cooled off. So what are you going to do? You've let Mercedes bury everybody at this point. Not even everybody in AEW, everybody around the world. She's holding like 35 titles at the moment. That's not feasible. That's ridiculous, is what that is.
It is ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous.
So I don't know. I feel like AEW is now sort of sitting back on the top of the mountain where they're about to careen back down into like an abyss. We're about to get like 20 foot, like they built all this back up in 25, and we're about to fall back into this hole in 26. And it's like, we did a great job in 25, guys. It's like, well, WWE took a break. So you did a good thing. But also, you got nothing moving forward. All your guys who were like promising upstarts, nobody's seen them. Are they dead? Are they hurt? Are they dead and hurt? Fuck it.
Well, I mean, if they were dead, I guess theoretically they would be hurt.
Dead is hurt, I think. Yeah, I think dying hurts. I haven't died yet, but it seems like it hurts.
So, I don't know, man. I think that's, even for me as somebody that has become quite the casual AEW fan, that's a reach for me to say that is the best storyline of the year in all of pro wrestling. Naomi comes to mind.
Naomi was fantastic. That was amazing. Holy shit.
You know, the shit with Io and the Kabuki Warriors comes to mind. I mean, these were short little things, but like, you know, Cody and Drew's been pretty solid.
Punk and Rollins?
Yeah, you know, I just Punk and Rollins definitely that's got WrestleMania legs, And if it doesn't, I don't. I think we could end up with Rollins and Breaker, perhaps. I don't.
I mean, I think we get Punk and Rollins at some point. Just
I'd
due
like
to
to see Punk and Roman at some point, but
yeah.
I'm not trying to get into the fantasy booking piece. I'm just saying, like, there's things that have happened on the other side of the coin that I think, while not nearly as long and drawn out as Hangman versus the Death Riders, I think that there are other viable options of better storylines in 2025. I'm not as cold on the whole Death Riders thing as you have been this year. I think that it very much had its place, and I think that it very much spoke to what AEW was trying to convey with their own little NWO type storyline thing. But to say that it was the storyline of the year, I think is just grossly inaccurate. And I mean, obviously, everybody's entitled to their opinion, us included. But I just don't agree with this take in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, no, it's just the Death Riders were so dead by the time Hangman. It was more of a relief than anything. It was like in 2019 when Seth Rollins stomped the shit out of Brock Lesnar after he didn't show up for forever while holding a title. It was more of a relief than it was a like, oh, this is a great storyline. It was like, oh, thank God this is over, kind of a thing.
That part. So I don't know. Bleacher Report, they're entitled to their opinion, and I'm entitled to be able to disagree with their opinion, and that's okay. That's okay. So somebody's been popping up on some indies and some Mexican events this past week. Any idea on who I might be talking about?
Should we be idolizing this person?
I mean, I don't know
Is he an
that
idol?
he's worth being idolized, but he thinks that he's an idol. Andrade seems to have cleared his name on his nonsense WWE no compete clause that was built into his contract. Allegedly, former stablemate Roosh put him in touch with an attorney that was able to navigate the contractual language and get that thrown out in court.
I mean, I think that's great for Andrade. He seems to be the kind of guy who we're always going to talk about in the peripheral, right? And where it's like it's more what's happening on his contractual side is always more interesting than whatever he's going to do within a wrestling ring or in a wrestling company, because like he shows up, it's hot. Oh my God, Andrade's here. Hell yes. And then like Andrade's there and like he puts on a good match and then he puts on a promo and that's cool and everything's good. It's like, yeah, Andrade, like let's remember this guy. And then like and then it goes and then he can't maintain his momentum and he gets mad about the lack of momentum and then like he just stops showing up to work. And I don't know, man. This guy seems to be Teflon. Like, how does he get so many chances? Like, he just gets to keep showing up. If he shows up in AEW again, will I be excited? I mean, I'll be interested, right? Especially because of all of the backstage contractual drama with Andrade. But do I think it'll last long? No, I think that maybe he'll have a good year, a mediocre year even, and then he'll get mad about something or something won't go his way, and particularly in AEW, if that's where he ends up. And maybe he won't. Maybe he'll just work in Mexican promotions from now on. But I think, he'll have a little thing in AEW. Maybe it'll happen. Something cool will happen. He'll get some promos. He'll get some matches. And then he'll piss somebody off backstage, probably Tony. And then we just won't see him. And be like, well, where's Andrade? What happened to Andrade? Where's the black mask? Because that's what he wears, the black mask from Batman. He thinks he's a Batman villain. He's not. It's a cool mask, and he paid money for it. But like, are we over Andrade at this point? Like, I almost feel like I'm over him. Like, right? Like, he's not ever going to make a foothold and do anything right.
I mean, I think that he's very much out here just chasing what suits him and not so much chasing the idea of creating something for himself. At least that's my take on it. I just feel like every time that he gets handed something that he doesn't agree with, or that he can't get over, or whatever it may be, he just takes his ball and he goes home.
But like, at this point, there's nowhere else to go. Like, you've been released from everywhere at this point for just kind of being a dickhead, right?
Yeah.
And I realize he was married to Charlotte, but like, even he was released from that. What are we doing here with Andrade at this point? And I mean, the man he's younger than we are, but he's like 35, 36. He should be at the prime of his career right now. Had he played ball and actually done good work, I think, we've talked about this before. A lot of the hang-ups that people have had with him is just like, buddy, if you want to work in America, you have to be able to speak English and cut English promos, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, I'm taking lessons, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, and it's like he cuts a few, and it's like they're okay-ish, but it's like at the same time, it's like, how have you not progressed? It's been 2 years, and then it's been 4 years, and now it's been like 8 years. Like, there's other aspects to just doing moves cleanly in the ring. There really are. You need to be able to cut a promo. You need to be able to do business. You need to be able to not be a jerk and just take your ball and go home. And like, he doesn't seem to have any of that outside of the ring stuff done. He seems to be a guy who can't get out of his own way, but luckily enough for him is that he's old enough and he's made enough friends that he didn't do anything stupid in the way of like, the Velveteen Dream or something like that, to where he just sort of ended up black. Like, fucking, we're not going to work with this guy. Like, Andrade is not like, texting like young kids or girls in high school or anything like that. He's just sort of being a jerk professionally, which gives you more slack. But at the same point in time, it's like people don't want to work with him, and then it happens. Like, oh, I'm sorry, and I'll try, and I'll work on it, and my English will get better, and I'm gonna take a lesson. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. It's like, but at the same time, it's like he comes out, and then because he's over, right? Like, that's the problem, is that like he got over. Zelina Vega got him over. Fucking what, 6-8 years ago? So he's over, but he's not really done anything since getting over other than get fired and
marry and divorce Charlotte Flair.
But like, what are we going to do? Like, at what point does it stop? Right? He's probably got one more like chance with Tony Khan, but it's going to be a very cautious chance, which he's going to blow up because he's kind of a jerk, right? Like, that's what's going to happen. Like, if he ends up back in AEW, he's going to get a cautious chance where he's going to have to do some jobs. And he's there. Tony's probably going to be like, a couple months into that, be like, hey, man, you need to cut a promo. Cut it in English. It has to be good. It's been a decade. Let's fucking go, right? And he's not going to be able to do it. And look, I'd love to be proven wrong. I would love it if he grew up, got over in English, in America, and had a great feud with fucking Swerve Strickland for the AEW World Championship, and it was like, this is what we wanted from Andrade. I want that, really, I do. I'm a fan of the guy in the ring. I really am. I want that to happen. I think the chances of that are like 1%.
Oh yeah, there's no fucking shot. He'll get that little pop from the AEW crowd, just like he did whenever he made his return after his release from WWE this last time, before all this shit hit the fan. And he'll be that toy that Tony found in the bottom of the box and that he only played with a couple of times, and he'll think that, oh, this is the greatest thing ever. I can't believe I forgot about this toy. And then it'll get lost in the toy box again.
Yeah. Because he won't play ball. And I think that's really what it is. Like with Tony, I think particularly you have to play politics, right? With Tony, you have to be in there. Hey, Tony, let's what do we think about this? What if me and Swerve, and I think he has to walk in with Swerve. I don't even know if Swerve likes the man, but like, I feel like that's sort of his like in, right? He's like, hey, look, you got this guy Mox, you got this guy Samoa Joe. Like, this is old school. We can carry right now, me and him. But like, I don't feel like he's gonna do that. I don't feel like he's that guy. You know what I mean? I would love him to be that guy, because I think in the ring, he and like somebody like Swerve are that guy. And they could, especially if you give Andrade a mouthpiece, which, I mean, Tony could literally put half a dozen people in that scenario of like, just kind of be like, oh, you're going to talk for Andrade. Andrade's going to say some words because he can speak English well enough. But like, are we really? I don't know. It's a frustrating, like, kind of thought process, because it's like, it's not going to happen. It could happen. The in-ring works, but it's not going to happen because everybody's going to get in everybody else's way. And that's it, right? And then we're going to get Swerve and fucking Bobby Lashley, and Bobby Lashley's going to throw Swerve like into the third row because he's Bobby Lashley and Swerve is not big. And that's it. That's what's going to happen. And we're not going to have any good or any new or anybody that, oh, well, I didn't make it in WWE because the Fed and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, you're not going to make it in AEW either. And it's a parallel at this point. It's like, well, you can not get over when, 250,000 people watch, or you can not get over when 1 million people watch. Pick your poison.
Yeah. I don't know. It's going to be really interesting to see how this plays out over the next couple of weeks now that this non-compete clause has kind of worked itself out, I wish him the best. I hope that he proves us wrong. I don't think he's going to, but I hope he does, because I do genuinely enjoy watching him perform. But it's just
to be proved wrong.
It's just one of those things, man. It's just one of those things. So we go from one man in a black mask to another. Austin Theory has been revealed as the masked man with the vision. The IWC seems a little let down.
I mean, we knew it was him, right? We said it. I don't hate it. I hope this is the chance for Austin Theory. I really do. I hope that he shines. Austin Theory needs he is an in-ring talent. I'll put it that way. He is in-ring. He is aggressive. He looks strong. He looks good. He is a guy who you can put in ring. He could talk a little bit. His promos this week felt a little rocky. Not that he delivered. Well, he delivered them a little indie, but he also he didn't stutter. He didn't do anything dumb. But it felt a little Hallmark. But that's I'm going to chalk that up to Russ. Like, he's delivered much better promos before because, but like, he's been off for a while. He's not had to talk on TV for a while. So I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. He is right now in the benefit of the doubt stage for me. I think the WWE needs to build brand new talent, young talent. Austin Theory is not yet 30. And his in-ring is solid as hell. His promos need work, but again, they're not so bad that I'm like, oh my God. It was a little stale, but his in-ring and his facials and everything are very good. I think that he needs to just get time. And I think this might be the perfect time frame for him to get time. We just had John Cena retire. A lot of the legends are like sort of taking a step back, and WWE is really looking to push fresh young guys. He looks a lot more seasoned than Javon Evans does on the microphone. Obafemi may be a little bit ahead of him. But like, if you're looking to push guys under 30.
Well, I mean, to be fair, Obafemi's been on TV every week for the last year, and Austin Theory hasn't. So
Austin's been hurt and been jobbing before that.
He was stuck in a no direction tag team with Grayson Waller. And I mean, that's just really the difference there. And to compare the two of them, I don't think is fair.
Sure.
But I think at the same point in time, there's definitely been a push for a youth movement in WWE as of late. And I think that we're going to continue to see that moving forward, especially into the new year. I imagine the Royal Rumble's probably going to be a lot of the same that we're used to. I imagine Roman Reigns is probably going to win that motherfucker.
But who does he toss out? Does he toss out Obafemi? Does he toss out Austin Theory? Does he toss out the both of them? And I think that's kind of an important point to make, is that it's okay if a guy who is our age tosses out a guy 10 years younger than us, because Roman Reigns is right now, right? Like, you want Roman Reigns in your main event. You don't want 45-year-old Roman Reigns in your main event, right?
No.
Like, you want 36-year-old Austin Theory in your main event. You want Ilya Dragunov. I don't know how old he is, but you want him in your main event 5-10 years from now. And I think that's an important, status. Is like, we're not going to see Austin Theory be a world champion in 26. But hopefully we see Austin Theory cut a promo that's just like, holy shit, this guy's the real deal. And maybe he gets a big another big US title run, or maybe he gets an Intercontinental title run. And it's just fucking dominant, and he's stomping the shit out of people. And then maybe Seth shows up, and maybe he fucking gets one over on Seth, because the Architect is this, masterful, whatever. Maybe he gets one over on Seth for some reason. Maybe it's a little squirrely. And Seth's the right guy to do that too. Or maybe he gets one over on CM Punk. They put him in the ring with CM Punk this week. He looked great. His promos felt a little lacking. Him talking to Paul Heyman felt a little lacking. But that match on Raw was pretty fucking good. And he looked good. He looked strong. So I don't know. I feel like you give him time. The man needs some time, clearly. That's a number one.
I mean, and being under Paul Heyman's wing, I think is going to do wonders for his character development, which you yourself said, in so many words, that, he's a great in-ring performer. But he's not been given the ability to grow his character piece very, very well. And I think working directly with Paul Heyman on screen, and, probably even more so closely now off screen, is going to be a great thing. I'm very much of the school of thought of let's just wait and see, before we pass judgment on this. Yeah, I think that some folks are a little disappointed, maybe a little underwhelmed that it was Austin Theory. I think some folks were hoping that it would have been Montez Ford, even though the rumors are swirling that the Profits are due up in quarter one of 26 and that they may explore other opportunities. But let's just wait and see. Before we pass judgment on this, let's just wait and see. A lot of people are saying that the Vision has been a complete and utter flop, and it just continues to get floppier now that, Austin Theory has been added to this mix and that they don't understand. And some folks think that Austin Theory is a spy for Seth Rollins. And some people think this is the biggest fucking farce of the Triple H era and are calling for Triple H's head again. I think everybody just needs to calm the fuck down and just sit back and wait and see where this goes, because we're going to know sooner rather than later if this is viable or if this has any legs or if we were reaching. And I think, like I said, we're going to know sooner rather than later. And we both know that the IWC continues to just overreact if things don't go the way that they think that they should go. And that leads me into the IWC just being in a total uproar about the card placement of the former Women's United States Champion, Julia. Tom, there's been a lot of chatter this week that, she's being misused and that they need to get her away from Kiana James and she needs to be on Raw or she needs to be featured more prominently.
Or she needs to work that strong style, that Joshi style, where she's taking bumps on fucking concrete on the back of her head every night. I'm sorry. Are we fucking serious? Like with this Julia shit, especially. Like this is insane to me, right? Okay. So Julia comes in like this fucking year, Julia shows up and takes NXT by storm, becomes the NXT champion, the madness, the beautiful madness, right? With the fucking shit, and she like is the NXT Women's Champion and goes on a tear in NXT. Gets called up at the same time as Stephanie Becerra, who is also on a fucking tear in NXT, right? Like both of them then show up on the main roster, immediately get titles put on them, right? Immediately. Stephanie Becerra now has, obviously, her English is better, right? And I think that's it. We're Americans, right? We speak English, and I'm not trying to say this in a racist way or anything like that, or any kind of like fucking, bullshit way. It's just like,
hey, did you hear what that man said? We're Americans.
Yeah,
that's goddamn right, Americans.
But we speak we speak English, so you need to be able to get over in English in America. And Stephanie Becerra has, despite only having spoken English for like 2 years at this point, she cuts fantastic English promos both on television, and then she cuts them in those like special backstage.
Is a strong word.
Okay, she cuts them very, very well. She's not on the level of like Io Sky or Asuka or anybody like who like very much speak English fluently and have had full deep interviews with Chris Van Vliet and everything in English. There's like, well, I'm part of it, blah, 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 blah. And they can explain things in English, but Stephanie's English is much better than Julia's at the moment. And that's not a slight to Julia. I know she's working on it. She has cut some English promos and she has spoken out, in English to some stuff in like, your Instagrams or your TikToks or whatever. But it's not her. She's just not there. And that's fine. Look, I suck at foreign language too. I can't say that like, oh, well, I could say what I'm doing. I could do this podcast in Italian. I could do this podcast in Spanish or anything. I can't. I fucking cannot. right? And both of them can give interviews in English where that's not their first language. So like I can't speak like, oh well, I'm better. I'm not. I'm absolutely not. I speak one language well enough, and it's English, and that's it. They speak two. They speak one very well. They speak one way better than I could speak a second. Um, and that's fair. But Julia's English is not as far along as Stephanie Vicaris. Therefore, she is not as high up on the card an American English speaking promotion as Stephanie Vicaris. Stephanie Vicaris speaks English almost as well as I do, and she speaks Spanish infinitely better than I do, and probably Portuguese as well. Like she's probably trilingual, where like I poorly speak English. Um, that being said, Julia speaks Japanese very well. She is Italian, like by heritage. I'm sure she speaks Italian. It's almost a dead language. Who cares? She could cut promos in Italian if she wants to. Nobody's going to understand that either. But her English is not where Stephanie Vicaris is. It is not. It's just not there to get over to an American audience yet. It's getting there. So her build's been a little slower on the main roster. I do think that she needed more time in NXT to develop the beautiful Madness character. Yes, obviously she's very beautiful to watch her, to see her, to look at her. Where's the madness come in? I don't really know. There's really no madness to her character on the main roster. That being said, I think that she's fine. She took a couple months off to go home, see her family. She had been in America for 8, 9, 10 months at that point. And then she came back this current week where she won in a squash match. She beat Alba Fire. It is hard to like put into words because like the internet wrestling community really wants like, oh, this person was great in Japan. They should be pushed to the absolute moon and win everything ever in WWE immediately. And it's like, yeah, that worked with AJ Styles, but like he's from Georgia. So I don't know, man. Like, yeah, that works with an American wrestler from Georgia who, after spending time in Japan, being the best guy in Ring of Honor, being the best guy in TNA, being the top guy in Japan. And then he shows back up and can clearly cut promos in English because he grew up in Georgia, Gainesville, Georgia, which is WCW territory. You can't compare Julia to AJ Styles. You just can't. And that's what the internet wrestling community is trying to do. They're being like, well, AJ Styles did. And it's not AJ Styles did. It's like, why isn't Julia getting pushed to the same level as like somebody else? It's like, okay, I get that she's like English technically, like genetically, but also like it's not like she grew up in Gainesville, Georgia. It's not like she grew up in Weirton, West Virginia. She grew up in Japan. Like, yes, her parents are English, but she grew up in Japan. Like, fucking, like, she doesn't speak the language. She doesn't understand the culture. She didn't grow up here. Like, and you can't fault her for, like, oh, it's going to take me a little while to learn a language I've never learned before, regardless of, like, what her, where her parents are, what her lineage is. It's like that, and that's where we are at this point. It's like, well, why isn't Julia pushed to the moon? Because she's not over. Why isn't she over? Because you can't really cut promos in English. But like,
well, and then I mean that's why they gave her the mouthpiece with Kiana James. But
yeah,
was that the right decision? I don't know.
I mean, I think it was the best decision at the time. And that's really where we got to go with that, right? Is that like, all right, Kiana James is cool. She can cut a good promo and she can't wrestle, but like, she's marketable. She's tall. She will be able to wrestle.
She's hot.
And she's hot. She will be, and we're going to pair her with somebody. She can talk. She can't wrestle. We're going to pair her with somebody who can wrestle but can't talk. I mean, that's just like dummy. Like, all right, you can talk. You can't. You can wrestle. You can't. And it's like, okay, you guys now work together. You talk. You wrestle. Everybody else shut the fuck up. And it's like, that's where we are with this right now. I mean, she smashed Alba Fire this week. Julia did. And, she eyed down she eyed down the USA Women's Champion. And it's like
Chelsea Green.
Chelsea Green, yeah. She eyed down Chelsea Green. I was like, coming for you. It's like, okay. It's a good spot for her to be in. What else do you want? Like, give it some time. And I think that's really the internet's problem. We just need to give everybody some time, especially like, hey, Julia can't speak English. Let's give her some time.
Yeah. I mean, and again, I think that's a callback to, what we talked about with Andrade. It's like you've got to learn the native tongue of the folks that you're performing for.
Mm-hmm.
And I definitely think that it also calls back to what we talked about with the WWE current the youth movement. She's gonna be all right.
Yeah,
she's gonna be all right. So I think everybody in the IWC just needs to calm down on Julia, because she gonna be all right.
I feel like we just need to give her another year to work on. And like a year from now, she's gonna cut a promo that we're like, holy shit, Julia's a big deal.
Yeah.
And that'll be fine. Like, that'll be good. She's like 27 years old. Like, that'll be fine.
She's gonna be all right.
Yeah.
Well, Tom, I've got a burning question for you that I think is being batted around a little bit, and we've kind of alluded to it a couple of times throughout the show. And I mean, hell, I pretty much just touched on it, but there seems to be this theory or this feeling that WWE wasted the entirety of 2025 on John Cena in his retirement tour to make some cash.
Yes.
Do you believe that to be true?
Honestly, yes. But like, I don't believe it to be like a bad thing, right? Like, I feel like, okay, we put WWE 2025 on pause. WWE 2024 was so on fire that it was just one of those things that was like, oh my God, we're pulling the biggest gates we've ever pulled. We are able to do this to a level that we've never understood before. We've never reached before, especially internationally. And we now sit on the precipice. We sit in a very, very special spot. WWE does. They sat in a very special spot where John Cena said, hey, I have a lot of opportunities coming up. I want to do a final run in WWE because I love you all so much and I love the fans so much that I just need to do this final run, and then I'll retire, and then I'll never wrestle again. And that was really the key to it, is that like John Cena was never going to wrestle again. And he was the guy that carried the company. He was the guy that sort of did all the shit through the PG era, through, the end of the Attitude Era, the ruthless aggression era. He was Vince's golden boy for so long. He was like, we need to put a nail in this coffin to where I don't wrestle anymore. I'm too old for this. I'm 47 years old. He'll be 48 soon. I don't want to do this anymore. I can't fall down anymore. I can't maintain this. I can't do this. And now, so he was like, I'm going to give you guys a final year, and I'm going to let you sort of promote this as my final year. And we're going to do this at a level that I've never done this before, where I'll do anything you want, and I'll tell all the stories, and everything's going to be fantastic. But at the same time, this is it. I'm done after this. So you have to, the ship has to sail after this. So I feel like WWE went, all right, we are going to put all of this talent development on hold. We are going to let all of these guys have extra time in NXT. We're going to let these guys that are injured continue to heal. We are going to market John Cena as the greatest of all time. Because for the last 20 years, nobody knows any better, right? And it's like, you can't market Stone Cold. You can't market The Undertaker. You can't market Brock Lesnar. You can't market anybody else as the greatest of all time on his retirement run other than John Cena, because now here's where we are. And John Cena is a household name. Hulk Hogan died earlier this year, which is, looking back on it now, very much a blessing to the WWE creative at this point. Ric Flair is out of the game entirely.
But he works for AEW, so that doesn't even, you can't even count that.
Okay, but still,
and he's pissing on himself, calling people barf for $600. I mean,
right. What I'm saying is the bar is low, and WWE now has the ability to say, "Hey, our greatest of all time, and he is." The beauty of John Cena is that, he is the Make-A-Wish Guinness World Record champion. John Cena is as clean-cut and as beautiful as a human being as WWE could ever hope for. He is everybody's stalwart protector.
He's Bob Saget.
He is, exactly. He is the nicest guy that anybody, because everybody that, you know how many people have met John Cena? Most of them. Most people in existence have met John Cena.
I never met John Cena.
John Cena follows me on Twitter. He probably follows you on Twitter. John Cena is the nicest guy who has ever existed ever, at least from a, promotional standpoint. He's a nice guy. If you meet John Cena in person, you're like, man, John Cena was really nice to me. Now, you didn't get a lot of time with him. He shook your hand and said, hey, man, it's nice to meet you. It's great to see you. Take care. I love you. Respect. Whatever. And he gives the best promos. He's the best. He is the guy. If you want a guy as the you want to put a Superman up there, it's John Cena, right? As far as the guy with John Cena's not racist. John Cena bangs fat chicks. John Cena's the guy, right? John Cena is not discriminatory. He's a cool dude who likes you. He tells you to hustle, be loyal, and have respect. And he lives that dream for everybody. Now, the guy is the voice of fucking Honda, right? So, John Cena's fine. He can turn down anything. He doesn't have
he drives a Honda Civic Si as his daily driver.
But I'm just saying, John Cena doesn't need anybody's money. John Cena doesn't care. Like, it doesn't matter to John Cena. He can be nice to everybody he ever meets ever because John Cena is living everybody's best life. Like, it doesn't get better than being John Cena. And the guy whose life it doesn't get any better than being is like, hey, I want to retire and I want to make everybody look good on my way out. It's going to be great. It's going to be great for me. It's going to be great for everybody else. Everybody's going to make a lot of money. And I'm just going to go be the voice of Honda. I'm going to be Peacemaker. I'm going to work on other stuff. I'm going to act. I'm pretty good at this. I'm funny. I'm charming. I'm handsome. Shit, maybe I'll be Ernest when I'm 70 years old. Who cares, right? Like, he's done. Like, he's made more money than he can spend. He doesn't have kids. He's made more money than like anybody can spend, and it's great. He's John Cena. He's the best, right? He's like, I'm the best person that's ever lived, and I can afford to be the nicest man alive. And that's the space in which he lives. So WWE can go, oh my God, the best man alive, the nicest man alive, because it doesn't hurt John Cena to be nice to not be nice to anybody. Like, John Cena can be nice to everybody he ever meets from the history of now until forever, until he passes away at the ripe old age of 165. John Cena will be a nice man forever, and it doesn't matter to him. He'll never want for anything. He'll never need for anything. He doesn't want to have children because he's busy, and it doesn't matter. So, like, they put it on pause because it was like, John Cena's going to make us $50 bazillion. And he did. For 2025, John Cena made $1 zillion for WWE. But WWE put everybody else on pause for 1 calendar year. 1 calendar year. They were like, all right, nobody goes anywhere. Nothing happens. We bring up no new talent. We showcase no other old talent other than John Cena. So for 1 year, we are on pause. This is the John Cena retirement tour. And it lasts from January to December. And then after December, we let everybody go home. After, like, John Cena's done. There's a week. We film a couple shows that sort of progress the storyline, but not really. And then we let everybody go home. And then in January, what is it, January 3rd? The 1 year anniversary of Netflix comes up. We just kick back into gear. And we go full force. Now we've got Braun Breaker. We've got Austin Theory back. We've got, Bronson Reed, who is a couple years younger than you and I are, but like 10 whole years younger than John Cena. They've built up the Undertaker's podcast. So the Undertaker gets to like point to the young guys and be like, hey, I'm the Undertaker and this guy's good. They've built all this periphery stuff, but also like kind of built in these like new young guys, Javon Evans, Ethan Page, everybody through their NXT program and everything else. And Obafemi now coming up, beating the shit out of Cody Rhodes. Drew McIntyre, by the way, looked shitty with his weird, like, hey, I got a hair transplant in the middle of my head. So like he's bald from here, but like not down. Like he's bald here, like a reverse mohawk. That was weird. Okay. Drew McIntyre's hair looks weird. And I'm just going to say that out loud right now. Drew has a hair transplant going on right now. I don't have that problem. Neither do you. But
no, I sure don't.
But I feel for Drew and his hair being stitched back in. Calling it out though, because Drew's got a big bald.
Well, they're using it as the storyline that Cody ripped it out, aren't they?
I said something this week, but like,
I don't know. I haven't really watched anything this
It
week.
looked
It's been busy.
super surgical. You're right. They did say that this week, but it looked super surgical. It's like it doesn't. Cody doesn't rip out like clean mohawk strips. It's anyway, not to like beat up on Drew and his hair transplant, but like fucking.
I work for John Cena.
I mean, he got heckled too.
Yeah, I mean, but it after a couple of years, it's finally looking like it's taken
Okay,
hold.
well, it just happened for Drew, and like, let me heckle him for a year or so. Fuck. Anyway, but like, so the old guard seems to be tired. They want to fight in Street Fighter, because they're all cast in Street Fighter. By the way, which I'm going to watch, like in theaters day one. By the way, because I fucking love Street Fighter.
Oh, for sure.
Also, we're getting a Mortal Kombat movie. We are getting both a Street Fighter and a Mortal Kombat movie next year. Yes, I am so glad that's on your desk still. Holy shit. I
It's
can't
just sitting here staring at me. I mean, it may as well.
2026 is fucking our year, buddy. Like it's gonna be a good year. That being said, like a lot of good shit's happening now.
I think there's a lot to look forward to. And I agree with most of what you said as far as like, kind of hitting a holding pattern and letting John Cena do the thing. And like the old guard is getting tired. I mean, but we did get a return of Brock Lesnar this year. We did get, obviously Roman Reigns and Jimmy and Jay are doing their OG bloodline bullshit. Punk is relevant again, like it's 2010. There's a lot of things that are going on right now, with the old guard, but the youth movement is definitely there. Chelsea Green's a big deal. Ethan Page has the ability to be a big deal. Ricky Saints could be a big deal. Obafemi is a big deal. Javon Evans seemingly is a big deal. You've got Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa are still relevant. So like they're middle to old guard, I guess. But there's a lot of positive things that have happened in the calendar year of 25. And I'm assuming that we'll do that on our year-end wrap next week. Right before I go back to work, coming off this vacation. And we, you and I will discuss that. I'd like to actually put some structure on that year-end wrap this year. Usually we just kind of go in and we're just like, oh, well, this was cool and this was cool and this was cool. But I think
can we try to get Derek involved? Like,
let's
like kidnap him to a degree.
Yeah, I'll see if we can definitely see if we can make that happen, Captain. I think he'd be.
What if I come to your house? We kidnap Derek and we do it live.
I mean that could definitely work. Yeah, we'll just have to see if we can make that happen.
All right, fair enough.
And if we can't, we'll talk. But I'll definitely we'll put some feelers out in the group that still exists that you and I still use. It was good to hear from him this week. Glad to know that he's still kicking, happy, and alive. But yeah, I think 26 is going to be a make or break year for WWE under the TKO banner. And there's a lot of wrestling fans, WWE fans, that have become extremely restless this year.
Mm-hmm. That's a good word.
Yeah. And, a lot of, and we saw it on display at John Cena's final match, when Triple H came out and, and then the post-match press conference, fans are restless and fans think that Paul Levesque has dropped the ball. So we're going to have to see some shit. We're going to have to see some shit pretty rapidly. And I think we're going to have to see some shit starting with the Royal Rumble. Because if not, this time of turmoil is just going to continue to grow. and it's not going to be good for anybody except maybe AEW.
26 could be a really bad year for WWE if they don't kick it up and like just start pushing new guys. And it seems like that's the intention. But
Feels like it. I mean, even like, we talked about it last week, making John Cena's last event about up and coming talent and putting them in marquee spot on a marquee show against marquee talent. The youth movement is upon us, and I'm really, really interested to see how it all shakes out and where we go in 26. I imagine we're going to see a couple of familiar faces make a return at the Royal Rumble, i.e. Chris Jericho. It's being reported that his first match won't be till WrestleMania, but I don't believe that to be true. All kinds of rumors and reports going on out there about the Jericho thing. Obviously you and I have been talking about it for weeks, just kind of touching on it here and there. We'll discuss it in more detail once something becomes a little more concrete or we get a Jericho appearance. But I mean, even that's a nostalgia pop. I think that we need to maintain focus on the youth movement. We need to maintain focus on the right now, continuing to build the main event. You and I talked about this, I feel like, year's end last year, that the main event picture was a little thin. And it still stands to be that way today. They've done some creative things with the main event picture. We're getting there. We're getting there. So 26 is going to be a pivotal year for Paul Levesque, WWE, and TKO.
And also AEW. Like, they need to, like, figure some shit out, too. Because, like, they've also sort of fallen back to stale as well. So I think it's important to point out that, like, all right, like, it can't be just the, like, okay, we need to default to Jon Moxley and Samoa Joe. Because, like, we're talking about two guys who are, 41 and 47 years old. Chris Jericho, clearly, like you just said, probably on his way out of AEW. And a lot of the young guys, Private Party, guys who have left recently, or people who have left recently, with Mariah May and with, whom else? Just Toni Storm, where she is, where Britt Baker, those people who like sort of built AEW, and Hangman Adam Page, who was almost our age. He's 36-ish at this point. Like, we're talking about, like, there needs to be an influx of people who are not almost our age, because, like, we're too old to do this. Like, we're too old, right? Like, when my dad was my age, Stone Cold was 30 years old. And he was at the absolute top of the card. The Rock was 28. Like, that's where we've gone far past where it's like, and I think I said it last week, where, like, when we were 32 years old, the top of the card was our age. We're 41 years old now. The top of the card is our age. It's the same guys. Fuck. Like, this can't be the thing. Like, we need to see some separation here. We're like, we're the old fans. Like, hey, do you remember Stone Cold? Because I do. But Stone Cold's 10 years older than we are now at this point. And like, when Stone Cold was a big deal, we were 16 and he was, 28, 27. That's where we need to be. We should be the old guys now, and the guys that are a big deal should be 30 years old.
Agree. So, youth movement, pivotal year 2026. I think for all of professional wrestling, TNA is in a really good spot, landing a mainstream TV deal at the beginning of the year.
Thank God for that.
So, yeah.
Remember when TNA was the old guys? Good shit. Good God.
Yeah. Now, I mean, it's like NXT version 2,
Yeah.
So, well, buddy, I feel like we've come to the point in the show where we've only got one piece of business left, and that is our pre-Christmas world famous One Fall WrestleCast match of the week. Tom, what you got, buddy?
Okay. So my main event actually was from Raw yesterday. It was Austin Theory and Bronson Reed defeating CM Punk and Rey Mysterio, with Austin Theory pinning Rey Mysterio. That match really fucking killed it. It really killed it. It was good. Theory looked great. Rey Mysterio looked great. Also, I want to point out, Bronson Reed always looks strong. Big fan. Have been a big fan. Go back and watch 100 episodes. Go watch like 100 hours of us talking. Bronson Reed, always a favorite of mine.
I was never high on Bronson Reed.
I know you weren't. But
I've had to eat those words, though.
I mean, great match. Was very excited going in because it's like, oh shit, Austin Theory coming out, having to be part of a match. It was clearly like tryout match in kayfabe of like what's going on. But I loved it. The main event was great. Austin Theory wins. Everybody looks strong. Everything looks good. Ray loses nothing by eating a pin, but also like fucking good shit. A great way to sort of send off the like the like holiday season, because like, you know, it was a pre-taped type of thing. Nothing cool was going to happen. They revealed that it was Austin Theory last week. It was like, all right, we're just going to move on. Austin Theory is going to win in the main event. Let's go. Delivered. Great main event. I thought I really liked it. Good stuff. Predictable, yes, but like the way it should have gone. I get claps.
Yeah, I forgot that I had this soundboard now. I've already said this once on this show. I didn't watch anything. I'm not up to date. I've been a busy couple of weeks with holiday parties and Christmas gatherings of friends and coworkers and such. And it's been extremely busy. I will sit down and catch up on the things that were this past week, starting probably with Raw, and just go from there. However, I did spend some time, some late night time, sitting around trying to get some presents wrapped, doing some things, watching some old John Cena matches, just because it was on the Peacock. And my match of the week was from 2006, Unforgiven.
Oh boy.
Tables, ladders, and chairs.
Oh boy.
Edge versus John Cena in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. John Cena throws Edge off a 16-foot ladder through some tables with an AA, ultimately climbs the ladder, gets the W, raises that rated R spinner in the air. Edge got booed in Toronto, in his hometown.
That was wild.
It was wild. Adam Copeland would go on to say later on in interviews that actually really hurt his feelings, that he got booed in his hometown. But you were a heel, buddy.
He was supposed to get booed. Good God.
So man, what a great rivalry those two had. Really just put a bow on John Cena's career, just by giving him a little bit of throwback love with one of my favorite performers of all time. So that was my match of the week, and you can fucking like it, and if you don't, you can go fuck yourself. So there's that. Yeah. Oh. Well, I'm gonna do the thing, so I'm gonna do something new for you. So, hey, man, we appreciate you hanging out with us. If you're still hanging out, man, we appreciate you. Go ahead and hit that thumbs up button. Maybe even consider subscribing. We would greatly, greatly appreciate it. Check us out over on Twitter and Instagram at @1_fall WC. That's ONE. And as always, thanks for hanging out. It's all love. We'll catch you next week. Merry Christmas. One Fall WrestleCast. Oh, I gotta go wrap some fucking presents. Fucking